Before we dive into our pre-trade deadline power rankings, this is the final week to go before the 2025 NFL trade deadline. We will have coverage for you right here on the channel, so make sure you guys are subscribed. We're going worst to first in the NFL power rankings. Tennessee falls back to the 32nd spot. Congratulations, Jets. They got their first win of the season. Down 14 multiple times. The Jets upset the Bengals. Congratulations to Aaron Glenn, Justin Fields. Still the 31st team because they're bad. The Saints are number 30. Maybe we see Tyler Shuck get a start here in the not-too-distant future. The Raiders coming off their bye. They just look disjointed right now, and that's kind of a red flag. The Dolphins got their second win. Boy, did Kirk Cousins look bad in that game, by the way. Shout out Miami, though. Nice win. The Browns, the defense is... How do you waste a 5-sack performance by Myles Garrett? The defense is awesome. Dylan Gabriel is what he was at Oregon. I don't know why we're surprised on that front there. Arizona is coming off their bye. They have I would argue, a must-win game for a lot of probably players and coaches maybe in that organization coming up against the Dallas Cowboys. Plenty of teams in this bucket have their head coach on the hot seat, including number 25 that we'll get to here in a second. But who will be the next head coach fired? Brian Callahan already got the boot in Tennessee. The Dolphins have, at least for now, held on to Mike McDaniel, etc. Who will be the next head coach fired? Let me know at the pinned comment of today's video. The Giants, they just didn't have a great game. A lot of officiating question marks across the NFL this week. Go figure how that turns out. Also, a lot of blowouts this week, which is kind of interesting. Giants at 25. The Bengals have to be kicking themselves so much. They were about to be like a half game out of the AFC North lead at 500, and you blow a game against the Jets you had no business losing. It's the Bengals, just like last year. The offense is good, great even. The defense is horrible. It's a disaster class in Cincinnati. Atlanta, number 23. That was a really bad performance. Apologies to all the Bijan Robinson fantasy owners who probably lost for maybe the first time all year. It was a poor performance out of Atlanta. And I don't know what they are, honestly. I don't know if they are good or if they are not good. It's a very weird situation to be in. Carolina is 22. Now is a great time, by the way, to remind everyone we do AP poll-style rankings here at Chat Sports, where it's everyone votes, and then we combine all the averages there. Carolina, I think, should be at least one spot ahead of our 21 team, the Dallas Cowboys, because they beat the Cowboys head-to-head. We're also at the point in the year where, like, head-to-head gets really wonky, because, like, this team beat that team, but they beat that team. You know, the circle of suck has been completed where every team has beaten a different team, and you can complete the circle. Now the Jets won a game. That was also just both sides did not look good. Dallas's defense is one of the worst units in football, right there with the Bengals. The Panthers very clearly missed Bryce Young. Andy Dalton did not look good out there at all. 1 week, Carolina looks awesome. The next week, they look like a bottom 2 team in the NFL. The Falcons, Panthers, even Dallas, Cincinnati, because of how streaky their defenses are and really bad their defenses are just a very inconsistent team as a whole. Teams as a whole, excuse me. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with PrizePicks. Weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. PrizePicks is the only app to offer stacks, so you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you want to do, like, assuming Lamar Jackson returns this week, passing yards, rush yards, and TDs, you can do it all on the PrizePicks app. Also, check out the new feed tab. You can follow a friend, a celebrity partner, or someone whose picks you like just by clicking one button in the feed tab. This is producer Aiden's. Actually, no, it's not producer Aiden's. This was one of the other members here at Chat Sports. 3-pick power play. Although it's a good one. I like it. Cameron Dicker, more than 7.5 points via kicks. Jimray DK, more than a half touchdown. Justin Herbert, more than 1.5 passing TDs. Go download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Number 20 on the power rankings, the Minnesota Vikings. They very much need the return of J.J. McCarthy. Carson Wentz probably shouldn't have been out there, to be honest. I think we can sound the alarm here for the Commanders. They were competitive for a while against the Chiefs, and then it very much got out of hand. Commanders are 3-5. Their next couple games are Seattle and Detroit. Then they get a reprieve maybe against the Dolphins, and then Denver. And then on the road against Minnesota. And then, you get the Giants and Cowboys in 2 of the last 4 games. Also still get the Eagles twice. Might be a sophomore slump season for the Commanders as a whole. Don't look now. Here come the Ravens, 2-5. I know they're 2-5. There's doubts about them. Getting that win over the Bears without Lamar Jackson is massive for them because down the stretch here, they're going to be favored, honestly, in almost every game until mid-December. They're going to be on the road against Miami. They should be favored in that one. Home or on the road against Minnesota, but I bet they're favored if they win both of those games. On the road again against the Browns. Kind of crazy. They have 3 road games in a row. But then home against the Jets, home against the Bengals, home against the Steelers. They'll be favored AFC North home game. At Cincinnati. Then they do end the year with the Patriots, Packers, and Steelers. This is a Ravens team that most are expecting to get hot. The Texans at 3-4, much better performance out of C.J. Stroud. That certainly does need to continue. The Bears do slide down, 4-3. That was for a team that is fighting tooth and nail for a wild card spot in the extremely tough NFC North. That was a pretty tough blow to have. By the way, first time this year since week 1, whatever, that is not above 500 for the NFC North. So kind of fun on that front. Vikings drop down. Jacksonville. Maybe the bye got things right for them. Some weird Brian Thomas trade. We'll discuss that on today's live show, but I don't really buy that one there. Pittsburgh is trending the wrong direction here. This is their defense. That highly paid, expensive, supposed to be super good defense has problems. 35 points allowed against the Packers, 31 points allowed against the Bengals. You score 31 and 25, you should win most of those games, and they didn't. And that's a huge concern for them going forward. Who ends up winning the AFC North? S for the Steelers, B for the Bengals, R for the Ravens. I'm sorry, Browns, I don't view as a real contender. And I think even most Browns fans would agree with me. S, B, or R, let me know in the comments of today's show. If the Niners were healthy, they might have one loss, honestly. They're so banged up. It's honestly insane the amount of personnel losses they have sustained at various key spots. I feel bad for them because, if they were healthy, this is a team that would probably be viewed as the favorite in the NFC West, but they're so decimated by injuries, they're going to have to fight tooth and nail for that wild card spot, potentially. Chargers get right game there, 5-3. They're getting a little bit healthier, not as banged up as the Ravens have been, but Joe Altuve, I think, is a big deal for them. Denver, by the way, very quietly is 6-2. Denver is on a bit of a heater right now, Frank, because remember, they began the year with the win over Tennessee, but then they lost against the Colts and Chargers in back-to-back games. They've since beaten the Bengals, Eagles, Jets, Giants, and Cowboys. Are those good teams? Maybe a good offense mixed in there, but the Eagles are a good team, obviously, but they're getting hot at the right time, or maybe at least they're getting back on track. Seattle is number 10. I love what their defense does. Sam Darnold's playing at a frustratingly high level because I had written him off, and, he didn't write back, and look what ended up happening there. Seattle at number 10. Another NFC West team, the Rams at 5-2. A good team. I think Seattle, LA should view themselves as very real playoff threats. Saints, Rams this week, and then Rams, Niners, November 9th, which is actually a really intriguing game with big implications across the board since the Rams already lost to the 49ers once. Who ends up winning the NFC West? R for the Rams, 4 for the 49ers, S for the Seahawks. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Number 8 is a team that I think should be higher. It is the New England Patriots. They did beat Buffalo in Buffalo, after all. I had the Patriots above the Bills on my own personal ones. And you can argue, their schedule isn't very good. Beyond the Bills one, their best win is the Panthers? So, their schedule is also super easy the rest of the way. Rapid fire. Falcons, Bucks, that's a road game. Jets, Bengals, Giants, Bills again, Ravens, Jets. Dolphins. They're going to win 10 games with ease. Virtue of the schedule to an extent. Bills at 7, by the way, who I think are a very good team and kind of got back on track against Carolina. Who do you think is the best team in the NFL? A lot of different arguments can be made here. Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Who is the best team in the NFL? Tampa at 6-2 checks in at number 6. I am a little bit concerned over outside of the game against the Saints, which was nice. Their first kind of blowout win they've had all year, but much needed to kind of right the ship after a frustrating loss against the Detroit Lions. I think the Packers should be higher. I know that they went on that weird little swoon where they tied against the Cowboys. Before that, they lost against the Browns. Then they kind of snuck by the Bengals and kind of snuck by the Cardinals to an extent. But I think that their talent level is very high. I had them in my top 2. The Chiefs, though, I know some people don't want to hear this because they're the new dynasty, and we like the underdog here. The Chiefs are back. Blowout win over the Commanders in the end. Blowout win over the Raiders. Beat up on the Lions. That game was a 2-2 score win there. The Jags loss was frustrating, but this Chiefs team looks back. Hey, we get Chiefs-Bills coming up soon, though. What a game that's going to be. All right, Eagles at number 3. I think the offense has figured some stuff out. They've looked over the last couple weeks, frankly, not always consistent, but I thought especially this past week, that was just a very, very smooth game. And I think that's what Philadelphia needs to kind of be viewed as, again, one of the best teams in a very strong at the top NFC. Open, but strong. Lions are number 2, which I maybe wouldn't have gone that route, but they also are coming off some noteworthy wins. You beat the Bucs, you handle them. They did lose to the Chiefs, but again, we're in that weird calendar where nothing makes much sense. A couple winnable games for Detroit coming up, by the way. Minnesota Commanders next 2 weeks. At number 1, which I don't mind, the 7-1 Indianapolis Colts. They did have a good win over the Chargers. They beat up on the Titans. They get the Steelers this week, which kind of feels like a need-to-win game for Pittsburgh. Then the Falcons, and then the Chiefs, November 23rd, with their bye coming in 2 weeks as well. So Indy, number 1 team, they look awesome. That looks sustainable, too, which matters so much.